Hi, and welcome to 40 Gray, a podcast by two late 30s guys whose adult lives and responsibilities, of which we have many, have not eclipsed our love of hobbies and nerdy things and fun, carefree times that remind us of yesteryear. Of course, I'm your host, Ben, aka LS Demon, and I'm joined by my fellow host, Tommy Bones.
Hello.
Also known as Hacksaw Bonesaw, and you can find him at Bonesaw Miniatures on Instagram if you want to see some good shit.
I wouldn't say good.
I don't know why that was funny to me, because you're like...
I certainly have pictures.
Your stuff's good, man. That Night Lord you did, didn't you win a competition?
I was going to enter him. I don't think I made the deadline.
All right. Bonesaw Miniatures. I'm pulling it up. Tom Bones. Tommy Bones. Oh, dude, there's that freehand Chaos Star on the Chaos Nightlight. Come on. People at home can't see it, but I'm putting my fingers to my lips and kissing them like an Italian chef.
That was a stencil.
Oh, all right. Well, fuck it. You're terrible. What about
Total
the dude
crap.
with the Lightning Claw Corn Berserker guy? That guy looks fucking tight.
Yeah, he was, I think, the first pure guy that I finished.
He's probably my favorite. I would pay someone to make that model for me. So give yourself some credit, Tom. You're a talented guy.
I think my Plague Marines are almost done. I just have to do plasma glow and paint the rims, and I think I'm good to call them done.
You should get them spinning rims, a circa 1999 Pimp My Ride.
Yes. Spinners.
With X to the Z exhibit.
Yo, dog, I heard you like Plague Marine.
So I put a plasma screen TV in the Plague Marine backpack.
So you can get diseased while you get diseased.
Pimp My Ride and Cribs. Those were both good. Speaking of good.
But I did it.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of good and bad segues, quick one tonight. Tom, you were telling me before this, well, obviously, because we planned for these extensive, that you are actually thinking about investing in a full-blown Astartes, that is to say, non-heretic, non-chaos Space Marine army.
Yeah, that episode with Ryan from Command Point really got me thinking. If it does devolve to Space Marines versus Space Marines, what if I were to build an army, a full-size army? What would that look like? So I've been thinking about that a bit since then.
And Tom, what has this soul searching? What answers has it led you to?
So I think I settled on Flesh Terrors. Okay,
did not expect that.
I'm a fan of the Blood Angels. They're like pretty much loyalist Emperor's Children meets World Eaters, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
Vampires. Yeah, but the Flesh Terrors, they see Gabriel Seth is cool as shit. The fact that the Black Rage is an awesome concept, and they're more prone to it than other successor chapters. For those of you who don't know, the Black Rage. It's an affliction.
Oh, I thought it was a Viking metal band.
Yes, the Black Rage.
From Scandinavia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the Black Rage affects some Blood Angels, where they have Sanguinius's memories, and they flash back to his death against Horus, and they wholeheartedly believe that they are Sanguinius, and it drives them mad. And they're put into the Death Company and sent headlong into battle, where they're not expected to return. So on the one hand, Gabriel Seth, the chapter master of the Flesh Terrors, he's sort of proud of the fact that they get the Black Rage more often. He thinks it strengthens their connection to Sanguinius, like they're true sons of Sanguinius. But at the same time, it's destroying his legion. Their numbers dwindle so much faster. So it's kind of a double-edged sword there. And then with the advent of the Primaris Marines, and they're a little bit more resistant to the Black Rage, and his numbers are bolstered. So he's happy that he has more men, but also he kind of feels like they're being diluted a little, and sort of steering away from Sanguinius's memory.
So, so I remember I actually got to know the Flesh Tearers pretty well in the Devastation of Baal
Mm-hmm.
or Baal. I always pronounce that
Ball.
wrong. Is it Baal?
I think so. If it's Slanesh, then I would say the two A's
Yeah.
are.
So it's by Guy Haley, one of the great kind of like 42nd millennium books right around, all the current events of the 40K universe.
Mm-hmm.
But it gives a really good insight into like how the various chapters of Blood Angels and their successor chapters, how they work with each other, think about each other. I know the Flesh Tearers are a little bit on the fringes, but there's some other uh, chapters which are even more so. Like I
Right.
forgot what's the one chapter where they basically are just like fucking vampires. They just like don't give a shit.
I mean, they're all
It was at the Blood Knights maybe
the Blood Knights.
the Knights of Blood.
Perfect.
And I think basically yeah, okay, that's right. So the Knights of Blood just kind of sacrifice civilians and drink their blood
Well, yeah.
and were declared renegades, excommunicatus
Oh, yeah.
by the Imperium. But they consider themselves loyal to the Imperium. And in this book, Devastation of Baal, you see like Gabriel Seth, who's kind of badass slash asshole up against in some cases like there's his version of the Black Rage and kind of the pride and the imperfect insanity of the Blood Angels next to these guys who are kind of no longer even partially good guys.
Right.
But they do defend Baal against a Tyranid invasion and then later on against demons. Did you read that book, by the way?
No.
So basically, there's a giant warp tear not too far from Baal, which and I might be getting some of the events mixed up. So just if you're watching this, like the 10 of you who listen to us, especially those of you in Jordan and France, thanks very much, guys. In some order, there's a warp storm which cuts off Baal, so a lot of the reinforcements they would expect aren't coming. At the same time as a massive hive fleet, I think it was Leviathan. I think it was Hive Fleet Leviathan is basically just going to eat Baal. So
Mhm.
all the successor chapters come back and try to defend Baal. And at some point, this is where this book gets like balls to the wall, crazy balls to the wall.
Get it?
So the Blood Angels have a lot of enemies in the warp, including Kabanda, a greater demon of Khorne, who's
Right.
like got a hard on for trying to just kill Dante and the Blood Angels himself, and wants to basically convert them to Khorne because they're almost there anyway.
Mhm.
And they actually like shock troop in thousands and thousands of Khorne demons to fight the Hive fleet because it's like, well, you can't kill them, I want to kill them. So it's actually a pretty good story. That said, that was a little bit of a tangent. Yes,
It was indeed Leviathan.
it was Leviathan, the Flesh Terrors, very grim, very dark grim. Lots of chain swords, lots of cool stuff.
And plenty of run-ins with the Inquisition, which is always a bust.
Oh yeah, you got to have your Inquisition run-ins.
If they think you're a heretic, you're doing something right.
And I think like Gabriel Seth's response is like he doesn't try to prove their innocence. He's just like, whatever, I don't care, fuck off.
Yeah.
So, okay, so Flesh Terrors, some of the calculus behind why you like them makes sense, and they're kind of cool. I like their colors. What would you most want to collect, or is there a specific like flavor of army or tactical / strategic deployment that you're thinking about?
Well, I'm a fluff guy. I would have to go heavy on the Death Company. And they do have Primaris Marines now.
So the Flesh Terrors did get Primaris.
Yeah, they're more resistant to the Black Rage, so Seth doesn't have to worry about his chapter dying out so quickly. So yeah, there would probably be a good number of them just to keep it fluffy.
Okay, and now here's what I got to ask, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
Is this motivated purely by Ryan's hypnotic suggestion that the meta is going to be all Space Marines all the time, or is there a secret yearning to give up the ways of chaos that I need to know about?
Oh God, no. This was just a thought experiment, I think. But I do have the Blood Angels Assault Troop Funko that you got me sitting on my desk at work. I see that every day with his little yellow helmet, Inferno pistol.
Dude, I wish they did more Funkos, by the way. Like, I can't get enough of stupid Games Workshop collectibles.
Yeah.
I got like my 3 or 4 T-shirts, some of which were actually officially licensed. God, I can't get it up. I need little esoteric references that I can put on my desk at work, so that like if a client comes in, they're not going to know I'm a wacky nerdo weirdo,
Mm-hmm.
but that if a cool dude or woman came in, they'd be like, oh, I see, you're one of those. Sweet, I'm a like-minded soul.
Right. Yeah, I just get weird stares when I go out in public with my Chaos Star COVID mask.
I mean, it's still pretty badass. So where would you start with your Flesh Terrors collection? I mean, you got to start from scratch pretty much, right? So you said Death Company, but like what goes into a Death Company battle ready force other than that they have a lot of black armored troops?
That's a good question. I mean, it was just something I was thinking about. I'll have to actually look at viable lists to get an idea of what units are worth taking. But it doesn't even have to be, fluffy, having a good time. Like, what are their troop choices? What?
Fuck if I know. I don't know 9th edition shit. So the point is, it's less about I want to win, and it's more about I want to get into this to the Flesh Terrors.
Yeah, I'm a fluffy guy. Let's see what Goonhammer says. Ooh, Sanguinary Guard. I do like them.
They are pretty cool. Does the Sanguinor like help out non-Blood Angels chapters?
I don't see him.
He's the physical manifestation of the spirit of Sanguinius.
Apparently not.
Boy, am I a nerd. That just rolled off the tongue a little bit too well.
Yeah, so it looks like your Death Company are your Smash Lords. 5 dudes with jump hacks, thunder hammers. Remember, kids, always be Smash Captain.
Always be go watch that episode if you haven't. It's good stuff.
But yeah, when I bashed that Warp Talon and Sanguinary Guard, that was a lot of fun. I think he looked pretty cool.
He did look cool. No
but
question.
I needed the claws for another project, so I took them apart.
So, if I was going to do Astartes, I've had this love for a while of all things Vulcan, because there really is a dearth of factions and individuals in the 41st millennium and 42nd millennium, as it is now, who are actually good dudes.
Yeah.
Like, you don't really have many. There are a few, but there's just, like, really, the Salamanders, one of the only.
Maybe one or two,
Yeah. And I mean, look, they're still not perfect. Like, they're still definitely anti-Xenos and probably anti, like, mutant and psychic. But, like, they actually care about human life.
Yeah.
Damn.
Lawful good.
Pretty much.
Except for, burning everyone to death.
That is a bit weird.
You gotta have your thing, right?
Yeah, you got to. Their love of fire is a little at odds with the rest of it, but I'm okay with it. There was a passage I actually read recently where this is on Reddit. Somebody posted a passage from a book where I think it was the Minotaurs, who are kind of have a reputation for being assholes. I think it was the Minotaurs.
Yeah.
If it wasn't, guys, correct me in the comments. But there was one of those like douchebag Space Marine chapters that goes a little too far, which essentially fired on a civilian encampment that happened to have orcs in it, because they figured, well, they're probably going to die and we might as well just like kill them and the orcs and like whatever. Like it wasn't like, it was literally like, we don't care about their lives. We're better off if we just, use them as cover. So pretty, it wasn't like hyper calculated, like, well, this is the least, loss of human life. It was just like, fuck it, just kill them. And, oh man, who's the head of the Salamanders? Oh, Tushan. So Tushan just like goes into the office of the head of this like Space Marine group, who just starts being like, I'm sure you're bad, but whatever. And then starts taking off his weapons. Like he's unbuttoning his like belt basically. And the guy's like, what are you doing? He's like, yeah, I'm gonna literally show you why you're an asshole. I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. By the way, I suggest you don't reach for a weapon. And then he just beats the living shit out of the guy in front of like the assembled Imperial Guard leadership and like the civilian leadership of this planet. He just beats the living shit out of this other Space Marine. And I was like, that is an ultimate like face turn. That is a classic face turn.
That's pretty sweet.
So if I was going to do one, it would be something, probably Salamanders-y, but I haven't really made it any farther than that.
They're one of the few chapters that actually take R&R, right? They go back home.
Yeah, they interact with their families.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty cool.
More human than some of the other chapters they fully embrace the living weapon aspect of it.
Well, and that's an interesting point because you brought up earlier like the flesh terrors and the blood angels. They're a little closer to the Emperor's children because at least in the literature, the blood angels at least you pride themselves on things like art and literature and beauty and the ability to create objects that they personify like the best of humanity.
That reminds me, another reason why I like them, because their whole thing about art and beauty, and the appreciation of art and music and all that, because they felt like if they're going to defend humanity, then they need to know what it is they're fighting for, right? Humans, they create and they do all these things, so they need to have an appreciation for human culture.
Like sympathize and empathize and remember what they're fighting for. That makes perfect sense to me.
Connect to the people of Terra.
So in the books and in the fluff, I don't know if Gabriel, Seth, and the Flesh Terrors are like this, but like Dante's a pretty good dude.
Yeah.
Like, he's not out for himself. He's humble. He takes advice from people. He takes responsibility for things. And in general, like, he does try to protect the common man. I would put him up there on the short list of people who are actually, like, decent individuals in the 42nd millennium. So I think Seth is a little bit more. You probably wouldn't want to, like, hang out with him, but he's not necessarily, like, evil. But Dante'd be like the guy who, like, if you get the chance to hang out with him, maybe go buy him a beer. I think he'd be a pretty chill dude.
Am I thinking of the right meme? Is Dante the one that just keeps getting dragged back to life?
He's not a perpetual, but he is, like, really, really old. I think he's more than 1,500 years old.
Yeah, he's one of the oldest. Maybe it's somebody else.
So it's interesting. So he wears the death mask of Sanguinius. So it's like I don't know if it was actually Sanguinius's mask or if it's just they made a cast of his face and turned it into a helmet. But he always wears it. Like, he doesn't take it off because underneath, like, he looks really old. Like in the books, it says like he's got wrinkles and jowls and he's like an old space marine. So he doesn't take off the helmet because he doesn't want people to see. Like, when he's around, when he's in office, he's a embodiment of Sanguinius. He doesn't see himself as like it's not him. He is serving a greater purpose. So he doesn't take the hat off.
Right. It's cool.
So just Gabriel Seth needs to do that.
He's doing his thing.
Well, Tom, I wish you luck. So is that your next priority for the next faction you want to jump into?
Oh God, no. My pile of shame is getting ridiculous. I finished painting one army and 2 more spring up, so I don't have enough time in the world.
It's funny, like, this is how much of a noob I am. Until about a year ago, I felt really bad if I had unpainted sprues or models. And then I'm like, oh, that's a thing. Okay, good. Like, I don't have to worry about that. Because I definitely have a list of shit. I have, like, 6 Gene Stealers somebody gave me. I've got, like, 3 different Astartes things. Somebody gave me the Assault Intercessors from their half of the starter kit. I got a lot of shit. I got, like, Zangors I haven't painted. I have Warcry stuff I haven't painted in over a year. My Astra Militarum kill team isn't painted. They're assembled and partially painted. Yeah.
Incoming.
So don't feel bad. All right, Tom, I think that's a successful episode. Oh, you just sent me something. What did you send me? Did you make Tau?
I was on a bit of a Xenos kick.
Is that a Lictor in the bottom right?
Yeah, it's 12 Gaunts, 3 Warriors, and a Lictor.
I actually really liked painting the Nids because, I mean, for me, it was just because I could mass paint them with contrast paint, and I really enjoy contrast paint, not just because it's cheating, but it just feels good to paint on. Like, it's a very relaxing experience. I cannot believe you bought Tau. I am so angry at you.
Well, all the other ones. I've already got Thousand Suns, putting them together, the Death Guard. I'm sort of running out of factions. And I kind of want to have them all by the time Scorchild's old enough you could pick. So
it's like Pokemon for you?
I guess.
How dare you?
The Lucidian Star Striders.
You good doggo. If Maximilian kills an enemy, if he dies, you lose all points and an extra one.
You forfeit the game.
And actually, that would be funny. If you take him and he dies, you automatically lose because fuck you.
But yeah, I was thinking I want to paint the Nids in a black and yellow, like make them like a Hornet type of, I think I could do some cool like black and yellow stripes.
That would be cool, but that is the Pittsburgh color scheme.
You have a point.
Well, I look forward to that, Tom. Black and yellow be aside, but until then, this is a good episode. I feel like this is all we had to talk about. Next week we might have some more. We got some stuff on the horizon, including that audio drama we keep talking about.
Mm-hmm.
We got to get your wife Amanda on. What we should start thinking about what we want to put in front of her and have her react to.
So I got her interested by talking about Fabius Bile. Said, "Oh, he's a reference to Frankenstein, right?" She's like, "Oh, it's her absolute favorite book of all time." So we were thinking about maybe going into literary references, and then that sent me down a rabbit hole, and I found out that The Emperor's Children are a nod to British Romanticism, which is her favorite poetry style. So now I feel like I've got to learn all about that.
So for those, we'll introduce it more fully, but I think Amanda's got a master's and I don't know if it's literature, but it's something literature related, right?
She's certified to teach high school literature.
Which people don't actually know. It's hard to do that. You'd think, well, nobody wants to, so why? But no, but it is competitive. Like you actually have to be pretty well credentialed to do that.
And you should see the bookshelves.
Yeah, you guys do have an impressive library with actually good books, like important pieces of human thought that actually have helped shape our society.
Yeah, she's got the classic literature, Shakespeare, all kinds of, and then there's the Horus Heresy in the corner, the Night Lords trilogy.
Like I said, important books that have shaped our culture.
Exactly.
All right, let's do that. So next episode, we're going to get an in-depth dive into the literary references and reaction from a literary expert, Amanda.
Maybe not next episode, because I think she wants to read it first, just to brush up.
Nope, too late. We've already committed.
Okay, I'll let her know.
She's got, if she's going to read something, she got to do it real quick. But yeah, otherwise, smash that like and subscribe button.
Good fight, good night.
Adios, muchachos.
Transmitido en español on SAP. Just call me 668 New York City, New York State, 10108.
And scene.
Fabulous photo by our comment. But it's a Golf version. We'll cut that out. That was terrible.
I decide what we cut out.
Curse you, editing suite.